The story of the human eye begins with a simple light spot, such as the one found in a single celled euglena. These are a cluster of light sensitive proteins which help the organism find food. A more complex version of this light spot can be found in the flatworms called planaria. These are cupped structures which senses the direction of light. With passage of time, these cups grew deeper in some organisms and the opening in the front became smaller. The result was a pinhole effect due to which only a thin beam of light can enter the eye. All these served as a basis for what would eventually evolve into the human eye. Hello students and a very warm welcome to Notebook. Today we shall start a new chapter from your syllabus, Human Eye and the Colourful World. The human eye is perhaps the greatest and coolest creation of nature. It helps us perceive the world and see the objects around us. The perception of vision through the human eyes occur with the help of the phenomenon of reflection and refraction of light. But to know how the eyes work, we should first understand the different components of the human eye. If we look at the cross-section of a human eye, it would appear somewhat as shown on your screen. The first component of the eye is the sclera. The sclera is the outer tough protective covering of the eye and it protects it from all sorts of mechanical injury. The frontal transparent part lying in the sclera is called the cornea. It is through this cornea that light enters the eye. Behind the cornea is a dark, muscular tissue and ring-like structure called the iris. The iris helps regulate or adjust exposure by adjusting the iris itself. Have you seen that different people have different eye color? Green, blue, brown, black. It is actually the color of the iris that gives the eye its respective color. The melanin pigment in the iris is responsible for the different color of the eyes. The iris has a small opening called the pupil. The size of the pupil is controlled by the iris and this helps in controlling the amount of light entering the eye. At the back of the eye lies the retina, which consists of numerous nerve cells. It is a light-sensitive layer and when light strikes on it, the image formed by the lens are converted into electrical impulses which are then transmitted to the brain through the optic nerve. Behind the pupil, there is a transparent structure called the lens. The lens is convex and is connected to ciliary muscles with the help of which it changes its shape to focus light on the retina. The lens becomes thinner to focus on distant objects and becomes thicker to focus on nearby objects. The optic nerves are of two types, the cones and the rods. The cones are the nerve cells that are most sensitive to bright light. They help in detailed central and color vision, while the rods are the optic nerve cells that are most sensitive to dim lights. They help in peripheral vision. At the junction of the retina and the optic nerve is a spot where there are no nerve cells and vision is not possible at this point. This is the blind spot. Apart from all these components of the eye, there are also some other parts which perform important functions. The choroid is a thin layer of tissue between the sclera and the retina and is filled with blood vessels which brings oxygen and nutrients to the eye. The frontal part of the eye, which is a space between the cornea and the iris, is filled with a fluid called the aqueous humor, which nourishes the eye and helps to keep it inflated even in pressurized condition. The portion of the eye between the lens and the retina is also filled with a fluid called the vitreous humor, which provides nutrients to the lens, maintains the round shape of the eye and helps in the growth of the eye. So students, with this, we come to the end of the first video lesson from the chapter Human Eye and the Colourful World. Here we learned about the different components of the eye and we hope that it will form a basis for your future understanding of the rest of the chapter. We shall meet you soon in our next part where we shall discuss about how image is formed by the eye. Until then, Team Notebook wishes you goodbye.